Hey everybody, I'm Jonathan Randall, and this is How You Like Me Now. I hope everybody's having a good week. I've had an interesting week. I had a bit of a scare this week, an STD scare, which is kind of the worst type of scares. I mean, I think an STD scare is worse than a pregnancy scare, because at least a pregnancy scare you could get rid of, and some STDs you can't. Anyways, I woke up one day and I noticed like a red bump on my dick, and I freaked out. I ran right away to the doctor's office, City MD, and I was like, what's going on? I was about to like start calling every girl that I've slept with so far since my last test and just curse them out, even if we used protection. I wasn't gonna like wait to see which one I thought it was. I was gonna blame all of them. Like together they gave it to me, like some sort of Voltron STD or something. But I ran to the doctor, and thankfully it was just a pimple on my dick. I've never been so happy to have a pimple my whole entire life. The doctor checked me out. She played with my pimple a little bit, but I don't include that in my hookups for 2023. Thankfully, I do not have any STDs. Because they suck. I've never had one, and I don't want to have one, so I am trying to keep that streak going. But it was a little bit scary, but I am responsible. And as soon as I thought I had one, I ran to the doctor's office, and I urge everybody to get tested frequently. I like to get tested, every other month, or it depends how sexually active I am that month. But definitely go and get tested, because we do not want to be spreading STDs. Speaking of spreading stuff, sometimes I'm involved with women. I don't know if this is actually speaking of spreading stuff, but anyways, sometimes I'm involved with women, or women are like pursuing me actually. And then I notice that they unfollow me. And I'm sorry, unfollowing me is like the worst way to get me to like be interested in you, because I take it a little personally. Just because like I feel like as a performer and an artist and a podcaster and an activist and a comedian, like I need as much support as I could get. So if you unfollow me, I take that as a lack of support for my creative endeavors, and I will not have any interest in you. I don't get it how a girl will like unfollow me, and then the next night she'll be like trying to hook up with me. Like, sorry, bitch, you shouldn't have unfollowed me, and then maybe I would have considered it. Speaking of bitches, I don't know if I've talked about this before. I don't think I have, but anyways, I live upstairs from a pizza place, a very good pizza place. And one time I was in the pizza place, and I noticed there was like this photoshopped picture in there with like these three girls wearing crowns with the pizza shop owner like on their wall of like celebrities that went there, or celebrities that the owner, Tony, had taken pictures with. And I was like, what's with this picture, Tony? And then upon further like investigation of the picture, I realized, wait a minute, I think I know these girls. These girls actually live across from me in this building that I hate. Check out my once Instagram art project, I Hate This Building. Anyways, I noticed them in there. We were once yelling across each other. Anyways, they have rich daddies. I checked out their Instagram once. It's all them hanging out on their like daddy's yacht. There's some 20-year-old girls that are just like loaded, and their daddy, I guess, bought them this apartment. Must be so nice. Anyways, for some reason, they thought that they deserved to have their picture up at the pizza place, and they went and photoshopped the picture with Tony, which really pissed me off. Like, if you go to the pizza shop so much and you think you deserve to have your picture up there, then at least take a real picture with Tony. Don't Photoshop a picture where they were all wearing crowns, which was really disgusting. Anyways, this brought my pettiness out big time, and I hated this thing. So I used to like mess with the picture. Like I would put little stickers on it that said like entitled bitches Hall of Fame, or like the most entitled idiots that ever ate here. And they would always just kind of like take off the sticker. Or one time somebody actually got rid of the picture. It pissed off other people, not just me. And somebody ripped the picture off the wall. And you know what they did? They just went and made a new picture of themselves and put it back up there. And this infuriated me so much. So I loved messing with the picture. And then I went in there one time. I was kind of drunk, and I drew a bunch of dicks on their faces. And then I guess I saw it and they cleaned it off. And then I had this sticker, and I put a sticker on their faces, and I guess they saw that and they took it off. So I'm like, I gotta step this up. So I like cut some images out from magazines, one of a dog, one of like this little like gremlin type creature, and one of a pineapple, because I adore and love pineapples. And I crazy glued it onto their faces on the picture at the pizza shop. I'm like, they will not be able to take this off. And I was so proud and pleased with myself. but then I guess a day or two later, the whole picture's gone. I guess they saw it and they realized it and they couldn't have it and they took down the picture. I wish it would have taken more time for them to discover it because I think that would have been funnier. But I don't feel like it's a victory that they took down the picture. I think the victory would have been more if the picture was up with like a dog super glued onto their face, and then every time they came there, they saw that and realized that they were a bunch of entitled idiots. Don't be that way. So I'm a little nervous and a little excited because, guys, I think I'm going to go to Colombia this month. Happy February, everybody. I'm in the mood for an adventure. I need an adventure. I need a solo trip. I just need to have some experiences and just like be on my own in someplace different. So I'm going to go check out Colombia. I'm going to fly to Cartagena and then make my way, I guess, up the coast. There's a lot of cool beach towns they have. Santa Marta, I believe, is a really cool little place that has access to some cool national parks that I'm going to go and try to stay in for a couple days and just chill by the beach, maybe do a little hiking, maybe go into the rainforest. I'm excited to have like a Colombian adventure, so I will keep everybody posted about my trip and how it goes and what I do. I haven't been on like a real foreign trip like this in a while. Of course, in the past, I had traveled around Southeast Asia for like 5 months, and Asia for a little more than 3 months with an ex-girlfriend of mine. But this is going to be like a trip that I'm going to do by myself. I've never been to South America, and I'm really excited. So Colombia, I'm coming for you. I've been like a little upset, lately just about having hard times with like my career, especially when it comes to comedy. My activism work seems to like be like doing well, and people are really responding to my message, and I'm promoting peace, and that's great. I want to do that, but I'm a comedian at heart. I love to entertain. I love to perform. I want to do comedy. I want to do acting stuff. It hasn't been going so great. I've been a little depressed. And then to make matters worse, I lost a good friend of mine. And when I say that, like, I think I talked about this last week or the week before. I didn't lose this guy. He didn't die. But I had this really good friend for years, a fellow comedian, a guy who I just totally respected his work. I loved him as a person. We had a lot in common. And he's ghosted me. And I've actually tried to reach out to him because the friendship was important. I was like, oh, I should make some effort. Just because I haven't heard from him doesn't mean I should just be like, oh, well, I don't want to be your friend either and be spiteful. And then actually earlier this week, I sent him a message just telling him how much I valued our friendship and how I haven't heard from him in a while. So I wanted to reach out, and I would love to see him and get together and, hope to hear from him soon. And that was in the beginning of the week, and I have not heard from him so far. It's a little disheartening and upsetting. I don't have a lot of good friends. I don't have a lot of good guy friends. And the friends I have, I really care about. And so when I lose one, it kind of sucks. So I'm a little sad and down about that, but it's so weird to be like ghosted by like a guy friend, or like I feel like I'm like some jilted like ex or something. I'm like, why would you call me? Why would you pick up the phone? I just want to talk, And it's weird to have that like feeling towards like a totally platonic guy relationship. And I'm like, what happened? Like, I would love to know just for my own self-awareness and self-discovery. I had asked him in a previous text, like, did I do something to offend you? He didn't respond to that either, but I think sending 2 messages is the most I got. I made an effort. I tried about the friendship. I'm sorry to lose you as a friend, but that's life, and that's what happens. And maybe I'll make some new friends in Colombia. That'll be cool. Okay, I got some notes this week. So let's see. Now it's going right in the shot. Let's see what else I wanted to talk about. James Gunn announced he's taken over the DCEU. He's the new chairman of the DCEU, and he announced a bunch of new projects that's going to happen. It's going to be a whole new DCEU. I'm excited. He's doing something interesting where he talked about where he's going to have the television shows, the movies, the animated series, and the video games all be connected, which is, I think, a first, because a lot of things will have, like, the movie universe will be connected, but it's not connected to, animation or games. I mean, Marvel has the TV is connected to the movies, but I don't believe their games are connected or their animation. So now DC, it's going to be connected. He's going to want to have the same actors playing them, whether it's the voices in the video games or the animation projects, or it's in the movies or the TV shows. He announced some projects that look very interesting, a new Superman project, Superman Legacy, an animated creature Commandos, which I'm very curious to see how that will turn out. And then there's going to be a Batman Brave and the Bold, which will be Batman and his son Damian, and I'm curious who they're going to cast for the new Batman. There's going to be a Booster Gold TV series, which I'm really excited about. I always love the character Booster Gold. He's a time traveler from the future who stole a bunch of tech and then went back to the past to be a superhero, and often he's traveling through time and getting involved in pivotal moments in DC Comics history. I'm curious what they'll do with this series. It should be good. I would love to play Booster Gold, by the way. I got to get my acting going. There's gonna be like a Supergirl movie. There's this Lanterns TV show that people have been talking about that's supposed to be like a pretty epic show, but in the past, it was going to expand all the decades, all the different Green Lanterns. Now it's apparently going to be like a True Detective style thing between Hal Jordan and Jon Stewart, two Green Lanterns. So that should be interesting. I'm curious to see that. And they're going to have a bigger story of DC Universe. Everything's going to tie in. I'm a big fan of James Gunn. I'm excited to see what he does with the new DCEU. Of course, there's going to be some other projects that I mentioned. There's like a Paradise Lost. It's like a prequel to Wonder Woman happening on Themyscira. It's going to be like Game of Thrones-esque. So a lot of cool, interesting stuff coming out from DC, James Gunn. I'm excited to see what happens. I realized something about myself this week, and I talk a lot about the crimes of the Israeli military, and I've been referring to them as the IDF. And I am not doing that anymore. The IDF stands for Israeli Defense Force, and I realized that they are rarely on the defense. This is like some weird kind of like propaganda that Israel has just by calling themselves that, where it makes the world think that Israel's on the defense, where the Israeli military is usually on the defensive. Okay? They're constantly raiding Palestinians. They're constantly doing things that aren't just in defense. And so I'm going to try not to use the IDF anymore and call them the Israeli military, because I don't want to feed into that. A lot of people on some of my videos, they comment they're the IOF, the Israeli Offensive Force, which I could actually see more. So I'm definitely making an effort not to just call them now the Israeli military. And I think it's weird. That's like another weird, like subtle thing that Israel does to make people think that they are the victims, when in fact, I think they are the aggressors. Speaking of aggressors in Israel, one of the main problems are terrorist settlers. Israeli settlers that are terrorists. They terrorize Palestinians, and this needs to stop, and this needs to end. And we're never going to have any chance of having peace as long as we don't stop settler expansion. I think we should be like abandoning some Israeli settlements, not building more. But actually, according to the new government, what they want to do is they want to advance in development settlements in all parts of the land of Israel, which is not going to help for peace at all. As of January 2023, there are 144 Israeli settlements in the West Bank, including 12 in East Jerusalem. In addition, there are over 100 Israeli illegal outposts in the West Bank, and it's crazy. These things are a detriment to peace. And these crazy Israeli terrorist settlers, they cause violence against Palestinians. I mean, of course, there was violence in Palestine and Israel over the weekend, whether it was the raid in Jenin or it was the attack in East Jerusalem. But then after, settlers started just attacking Palestinians, which was crazy. Let's see. On Sunday alone, Israeli settlers carried out 144 attacks against Palestinians and their property just in Nablus. Not including there were settler attacks in Ramallah, in the Jordan Valley, in Masafer Yatta. And this is absolutely insane. Let's see, I have some more stats. Since the beginning of January, just this year alone, Israeli settlers have damaged over 100 olive trees of Palestinians. This is how a lot of Palestinians make their livelihoods. They've had these olive trees in their families from generations, and this is like a thing that constantly happens. Israeli settlers go and they damage, they burn, they ruin these olive trees for the Palestinians, so they can't use them. They can't farm the land. They can't make a livelihood, which is despicable and disgusting. According to the UN estimates, Israeli settlers carried out out 849 attacks on Palestinians in the West Bank last year, which is absolutely insane. And Netanyahu now wants to, strengthen settlements, and they want to advance settlements and make illegal settlements legal. And this is such a horrible idea. This gets directly in the way of peace, and we got to stop all settler expansion, and we got to condemn settler terrorists from terrorizing Palestinians, because often what happens is the Israeli military, that's right, they will go there and they'll back up the Israeli settlers as they go burn, Palestinian cars, Palestinian businesses. They vandalize them, they cause damage, and then if a Palestinian picks up a rock to throw it back at these deranged settlers that have come onto their land to terrorize them, the IDF will have their back, which is absolutely ridiculous and is horrible. So I believe that all settler expansion needs to be beyond a first step to facilitating peace between Israel and Palestine. And if there's any hopes of there ever being a two-state solution, they got to definitely stop it, and they definitely got to retreat and leave some of the settlements that already exist. And it's crazy that this new Israeli government is actually talking about settler expansion. It's just horrible. And why isn't America doing more? America needs to stop giving money to Israel as long as it is expanding their settlements. And it's crazy. Speaking about not giving money, boycotting things, I want to start a boycott that many people have already done, and I want to mention this, and I want to encourage my fan base and my audience to boycott Sabra Hummus. Sabra Hummus is, from Israel, and not only is Sabra Hummus, some people say that is some appropriation, because Israel doesn't necessarily have their own cuisine. They just kind of appropriated other Middle Eastern cuisines that existed long before 1948. But that's not the major problem I have with it. The major problem that I have is that they support, and they have given money, and they have given packages and donations and stuff like that to the Golani Brigade. I can't even say it. Excuse me. I don't even want to say it. All right. It's like my brain is telling my mouth, don't say this horrible brigade, this group of Israeli soldiers that have committed some of the worst human rights violations. The Golani Brigade. Sabra donates and supports the Golani Brigade. And they are so brutal. Since their inception, tons of human rights violations against the Palestinians. They're one of the regular infantries of the Israeli military. They've arbitrarily murdered people. They've assaulted. They've damaged property. They participated in evictions. They've arrested children. They violated international law by occupying both the West Bank and Gaza. They've demolished Palestinian homes. And they've also helped and aided with the construction of illegal Jewish settlements, which I was just talking about before, have to end. So it's crazy that this company, Sabra, they support basically these human rights violations, and people are just buying their hummus, and everyone's got to stop buying their hummus. There are plenty of hummus brands to buy that you're not helping participate in fundamental human rights abuses of the Palestinian people. They've killed plenty of civilians, including children, physically disabled, women, elderly people. They've been called out by human rights groups, from B'Tselem to Human Rights Watch, and so let's not buy Sabra Hummus. Let's stop buying Sabra Hummus and put an end to it, because people should not be helping this company that is helping these soldiers that are abusing Palestinians. So, people want to speak out against violence. I speak out against violence all the time. And a great way to do that is through nonviolent protests, which is boycotting something like Sabra. So not only should you not be buying their hummus, but call up your grocery store and tell them that you are questioning shopping there as long as they carry it, and they should stop carrying Sabra Hummus. And let's all boycott Sabra Hummus, because they suck. Let's see. What else do I want to talk about today? I want to talk about my grandma. She's not doing very well. she's 100 years old. I love her. She's in the hospital. She just got diagnosed with some cancers. It's very sad. I was speaking to her yesterday. It was so difficult because literally I don't know if this is the last time I'm going to be speaking to her. And I'm telling her how much I appreciate her, how wonderful she's been to me in my life. And I'm like, is this just going to make her more sad and depressed? I don't know, but I love my grandma. It's hard, though, to be upset about someone that's lived 100. She's had a wonderful life. She's lived longer than many people do. So I guess I'm trying to celebrate more the life she lived than be upset about her imminent death, which is sad for me to say, but it is the reality that's probably going to happen. My phone is ringing right now, and I get nervous. I got to look and say, oh my gosh, is it them? It was my grandma, actually, but I'm sure she's okay since she's the one that's calling me. It's probably my cousin. They just want to call me from the hospital so I could say hi. Anyways, thanks, everybody who's been checking out the podcast. I appreciate it. I probably get way too personal on this. I do have a Ko-fi page, by the way, where you could, help me make my podcast, help me do my activism work. You could support it. You could do a one-time supportive donation. You can support regularly. So check out my Ko-fi page, Jonathan Randall. You can find it on my TikTok page. There's a link to it on the link tree. I'll maybe include it in some of the, descriptions when I put this on YouTube or, when I upload the podcast. Thanks everybody for listening. Definitely check me out across social media at Jonathan Randall, or you could check out, at How You Like Me Now podcast. I'm Jonathan Randall. How You Like Me Now.